Hey guys, Ravedge here, and today's vid is going to be a quick overlook of the new 5.3 changes that came out today, May 21st. I'm going to talk about both Windwalker and Mistweaver changes, both buffs and nerfs, and give my personal thoughts on them, what I think about them, and what I'm looking forward to with this patch. Also, I'm going to talk about the new resilience change, just cover it lightly because I've had a lot of people ask questions about it, whether in stream or comments. So I'm going to talk about those parts, and also at the end of the vid I'm going to announce last week's winner from the prize video and a couple heads up about the channel for the upcoming week. So stick around for that part if you could. That being said, I'm going to cut it off here and say sit back, relax, and enjoy the vid. Alright guys, now the first thing I'm going to talk about is the overall general monk changes, and then I will talk about the Windwalker aspect and then the Mistweaver aspect as well, like the changes that specifically, for each build individually. Then also at the next part, I guess you could say, I will talk about the 5.3 PvP changes as well. So it's a lot to get through. I'm going to try and do it fast, so let's do this. Alright, now the first thing is for general changes. I'm just going to read them all off, big ones and not so important news, I guess you could say. The first thing is Legacy of the Emperor has had its mana cost reduced to 1%, down from 6%. I guess they were just trying to level it out because buffs were maybe too expensive compared to other classes. But either way, you know what, they made it cheaper for us, so I guess you could call that a buff. The next thing is Nimble Brew now also removes Horrify effects. Finally! You have no idea how much I hated when a Warlock would noob coil me, or a Priest would do his Horrify Disarm, and just not being able to Nimble Brew out of it, but every other CC they do I could. This was an awesome change, and it does follow the same effect of everything else with Nimble Brew. It also reduces the duration of any further ones, blah 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 blah. So that's an awesome change. I'm really stoked about it, and that was something that I feel was a definite step in the right direction for monks. The next change is a change to Spear Hand Strike. Spear Hand Strike, originally, when you would interrupt someone mid-cast when using it, you would lock them out of any spell being cast at school for 5 seconds. Now it is a 4-second lockout. So technically it's a nerf by a second. It's not too bad, it could be worse. But I think they were leveling it across the field with other interrupts, like all of them only had a 4-second lockout, or, they just tried to make it equal amongst all classes. But it's 1 second, I know that's still necessary, that could be life or death, that whole 1 second, but let's hopefully be able to overlook that change with the other buffs we got as well. Alright, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Ring of Peace change. Ring of Peace now, it does the same effect, but when you first put up Ring of Peace, it will automatically silence anyone caught in the Ring of Peace. So the readout now is forms a sanctuary around the friendly target, instantly silencing and disarming all enemies for 3 seconds. In addition, enemies who attack or cast spells on allies within the Ring of Peace will be disarmed and silenced for an additional 3 seconds. Ring of Peace lasts for 8 seconds. So now instead of being the perma disarm and then no auto attack like it used to be, you now instantly get the silence effects. So against spellcasters, this was a huge buff. It could be a nerf against some melee classes, like I'm thinking mainly like rogues, stuff that's right in your face a lot of times. But if they do hit you, they're going to get the disarm effect as well. So it's good. I'm really liking it for the instant silence, because I was hating it whenever I'd be hitting, say this is a Warlock and he's casting a Chaos Bolt in my face and my Spear Hand Strike's on cooldown, Fist of Fury's on cooldown, and I'm like, oh, I'll Ring of Peace. He would then have to finish that cast, I would have to take the damage, and then he would get silenced for 3 seconds. So I would get hit for, let's say, 150,000 and before he actually got silenced. So with this change, I feel it was definitely a good change against spellcasters. But what I'm also liking is it's not just for that one person. Say I'm hitting someone right here and this target dummy is a separate person as well, and they're both right next to each other. When I Ring a Peace, they both are silenced for 3 seconds. This is going to be really good against, say you're hitting one target and a healer is right next to him, like too close or cut out position. You can actually interrupt his heal without having to go over next to him, and then you've got also the silence on the person you're killing as well. So my tip for you guys is get good with the new Ring of Peace. Learn how to use it to your max potential. I guarantee you're going to find out some really good combos, whether it's a Fist of Fury into a Ring of Peace or whatnot, to be able to burst someone down pretty hard. So I'm liking the Ring of Peace change, but I do understand why they nerfed it in certain aspects, like the perma, disarm, and whatnot. But hey, I'm liking it for mainly against the spellcasters, so that's a buff for... overall, I look at it as Ring of Peace, a retooling that was a minor buff in the end of it. So I do like the Ring of Peace change. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the actual Windwalker changes. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the Rising Sun Kick change. Rising Sun Kick originally only used to buff your damage by 10%. Now it does 20%. And me personally, I am noticing the damage almost instantly. Like, just hitting a target dummy and doing a couple BGs, I see a definite increase in the damage output. I'm hitting higher numbers all across the board, even on other targets as well. So, you know, 10% is nothing to be overlooked. 10% damage can be the difference of life or death, you know. So I definitely like this change, and I feel it really buffs monk damage but doesn't make us overpowered. So that's a good change altogether. The next change is, I guess it was a bug change, but apparently there was a glitch with the ticks from Fist of Fury to sometimes be skipped. I don't know what that necessarily means. It could have meant like you didn't get the full damage output, like it missed a tick or whatnot. But either way, if they're fixing something for monks, then in my mind that's a good thing. So those are the changes, as in Windwalker changes. The next ones I'm going to talk about are Mistweaver changes. So I'm going to cut it off here, and I'll see you in the Mistweaver section. Alright guys, now with the Mistweaver changes, there were only a couple of them, but these were actually kind of some big changes altogether. First thing I'm going to talk about is Nimble Brew. Nimble Brew, obviously with the change to Horrify effects, is not the only thing that happened. Nimble Brew is now available to Mistweavers as well, which I think is awesome. There's been, when I've messed around in BGs or arenas, I hated eating a full fear or a full kidney when if I knew I was Windwalker, I could get out of it no problem. So they went ahead and made Nimble Brew available for all different specializations. Brewmaster, Windwalker, and Mistweaver now all have Nimble Brew. So that was an awesome change, and I'm going to enjoy using it in PvP. Yeah, so that was just a huge change right there. The next big thing is the Revival change. Revival is really powerful spells for Mistweavers, and sometimes is overlooked. Like, people forget about it. They think when you hear of Mistweaver big cooldowns, everybody talks about the Cocoon, this right here, which is not a small cooldown. It's absorbing 370,000 damage right now, and I'm taking improved 50% heals from HOTS. So that is a huge cooldown, but Revival is a gigantic actual heal. Revival is a 3-minute cooldown and instantly heals all party and raid members within 100 yards for 148,000 and clears them of any harmful magical, poison, and disease effects. So it's got an AoE cleanse and a gigantic heal. Now, originally, this would only, from what this readout is saying, is it only used to heal 6 raid members in a 25-man instance, and now it will heal up a healing cap of 15 raid members. So it is more than double the amount of people it will heal. So I'm gonna have to see this in LFRs and whatnot. Usually when I pop this spell, I'll go like up a whole, you know, whether it's second to first or third to second or third to first sometimes on the healing meters, and then I usually just stay up really high in the healing meters at that point on. So this is definitely a couple nice changes for Mistweaver, but that's going to wrap it up for the Mistweaver section, guys. So the Nimble Brew and the Revival changes. Now, if you stick around, I'm going to go ahead and give my thoughts on the new 5.3 PvP changes. So, see you there. Alright guys, now the next thing we'll be talking about is mainly the new gear changes with 5.3. There is a lot to cover. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly and just give my thoughts on it. First thing is, base resilience will be set to 65% for all characters level 85 and higher. What this is doing is just giving people resilience. So some say it's just, oh, you're just giving away resilience. No one has to work for the gear. And some people really see it for what it is. It's leveling the playing field a lot more. I have refused to level up alts because I hate grinding gear when I have no resilience and everybody just one-shots me. So this was a change that I'm actually personally positive, like I'm there for it. I do like it because I'm more inclined to maybe level an alt or play my alt more, whether it's my feral or something like that, you know. So I understand why they did with the resilience like that, and there's then a couple of things after explaining more with the resilience as well. The next note is resilience will be removed from nearly all PvP gear. Now, let me throw on my malevolent PvP gear for healing. As you can see right there, guys, there is not any resilience other than what I have socketed. Now, this is something that has raised some questions. You know, what are going to be the new? What are you going to gem, enchant? You know, stuff like that. Because resilience is already there. Why would I need to gem it and enchant it? So, in future vids and whatnot, if things change, I will cover that in depth and my thoughts on it. But Blizzard does go ahead and kind of give their own thoughts on what they think might happen as well. Players will still be able to use resilience gems and enchants, obviously by what you just saw. The next thing is PvP power will remain exclusively on PvP gear, which I think is good. So you don't get PvE heroes that are just grinding gear in their dungeons and, oh look, I've got, you know, all this crazy amounts of PvP power. Let's go just pwn some noobs now. So that's a good thing. PvP set bonuses that currently provide resilience will now provide PvP power, which, as you see here, my 2P set bonus has 500 PvP power, and then my 4P set bonus gives another 1,000 PvP power. So that's one of the changes. The next thing is something that I think you should pay attention to for monks, or hybrids, I guess you could say. Healers and hybrid casters will benefit to a greater degree from PvP power, and battle fatigue will increase to make PvP gear superior for healers. So what this is pretty much saying is PvP power is going to be the stat to most likely stack as a healer. It's going to improve your heals and whatnot. I don't know if it's going to be a mixture of intellect and PvP power or just raw PvP power. I'm going to obviously have to test and do some number crunching on my own, but when I do have those answers, I will let you guys know. Conquest gear will be increased to item level 496 up from 493, which, yeah, I think it was just trying to level the item level with, I think, some of the raid content. The next thing is elite gear will be decreased to item level 496. This gear will essentially become a prestige upgrade. So it's not like an actually better gear, it's just you know, look what I have type deal. Some little flash or flare. So if you're someone who transmogs your gear, it's not really going to do much for you. And then this next part, it says the big change. We'll be adding an item level ceiling to all gear in unrated battlegrounds, rated battlegrounds, and arenas. All gear with item levels higher than 496 will be scaled down to 496, Conquest gear item level. This includes even Conquest items that have exceeded the item level ceiling, such as weapons. That's just, I guess you could say, a nerf to the people that really have grinded their gear. I do kind of like it because it makes it much more level playing field. Not as much in MAPPA. In other expansions, people would just outgear you and beat the crap out of you in arenas and BGs. Like, I could face someone who is just backpedaling, doing nothing, you know, just has really good PvE gear like a mage, and blow me up before I even had a chance to even trinket. So that's just something that I felt was a good change. You know, level the playing field, don't make PvE so dominant in PvP, and hopefully Blizzard just keeps on the right pace with that. The next thing is some changes that they've discussed before. It was like towards the Conquest cap and Honor and whatnot, so I'll go ahead and talk about those real quick. In patches that don't include a new season, including patch 1.3, the seasonal currency requirement of 7,250 conquest points earned will be lifted from weapons. The seasonal currency requirement must always be met to purchase elite items, though. Once 27,000 conquest points seasonal currency requirement is reached, players will be able to purchase Tyrannical Gladiators gear with honor points. That is huge! I am really looking forward to that because I can gear out once I get... how many points am I right now? I have not done arenas or RBGs this week. I'm already almost at 20,000, so a couple more weeks, I'm going to have the 27,000. I'm going to be able to have a full Tyrannical Windwalker and Mistweaver set, no problem. I'll probably grind another Windwalker set for Brewmaster. So if I ever want to tank an RBG, so that's going to be awesome. That's something I want to see also more in depth once that gets to that point, because it's going to have a big effect on people gearing out faster as well. So, the next thing is the Conquest Point Catch-Up Cap will be introduced. You can read our PvP gear in 5.2 and beyond blog for more information. I believe the point catch-up is if you missed a week of arenas, your next week cap will be double what it is, so you don't, you know, whether you're sick, on vacation, whatnot, if you miss a week of arenas or RBGs to get your cap, that you can then squeeze them in for the next week. So that's all the big 5.3 PvP changes, guys. Obviously, it's too early to tell how everything's going to work out. I'm going to go ahead and keep testing everything, and I will have a more clear answer for you guys. So be sure to check back the channel for the updates, whether it's Windwalker or Mistweaver with the PvP changes. So that's going to be it for the PvP changes here, guys. I'll cut it off here, and I'll see you in the next bit. Alright, guys, now it's going to wrap up this vid. First thing I want to talk about real quick is the winner from last week's prize video, and this week's winner is SQ Rogue. Congratulations, you won. Your name will be like right up here or something. You did everything to qualify. You liked the video, you commented on the video, and you were subscribed to my channel. So thank you for doing all that. And you can be expecting a message from me on YouTube in the next day or two, where we'll figure out if you want the WoW game time or the League Riot points, and we'll go from there. So once again, congratulations to you. And on that note, thank you to everyone else who did enter. I appreciated all the comments and whatnot, and better luck in the next one, guys. I will be making another prize video in about a couple weeks, maybe a month, and so I'll be on the lookout for that. That being covered, there were just a few quick little heads up about the channel before I let you guys go. First thing is that there's going to be more content, but I'm not giving up on Windwalker. I'm going to be throwing out both Mistweaver and Windwalker content, Windwalker being the main part, but I'm not losing sight of Windwalker. Some people have been asking me that in stream. Oh, am I going to just be a Mistweaver now? No, I'm sticking with Windwalker, but I will throw out content for both builds. And I also am working on my first League video. I don't know when that will be done. It's kind of a side project, but it will be in the future out there. And if you guys like the League content, I'll be throwing out more League content as well. So that's just as in the channel, as in streaming. I'm streaming more during the day as well. It is summer, and when I do have the free vacation time, like as in free weekends, I'm going to go either visit people or whatnot, so I'm not going to be streaming as much. But before class and all that, I do stream. So if you want to keep up on stream information, make sure you follow me on Twitch and like the Facebook page. I do put a lot of info about streaming on the Facebook page quite a bit, and I do put a vid on the channel every day when I am streaming. So hopefully I can see you guys there, and that's going to be the announcement. So thanks for sticking around, guys. Once again, congratulations to SQ Rogue, and I hope to see everyone else in the next prize video as well. So this is Ravedge saying thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the BGs.